Well, with a national unemployment rate at about 9.8%, those without jobs are turning over any stone to try to find work. But our next guest says about 8 out of every 10 jobs available are actually unlisted. So how are you going to find them? Well, right now let's talk to Steve Rothberg. He is the founder of collegerecruiter.com. He joins us from the Twin Cities. Steve, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you.
I had not seen that statistic before. 80% of jobs are unlisted. Where are they?
Yeah, it's probably even more. I think that's a conservative number. You know, the vast majority of job openings out there are unadvertised because employers just don't need to advertise them. They get way too many qualified applications already.
So does that mean they've got a stack of resumes in the back room, and as soon as a company, the Acme company's got an opening, they say, okay, let's wheel out the resumes and take a look?
You know, a lot of times the ones that are in the back room, they just ignore. They're looking for that huge stack that's on their desk, or more likely for a larger employer in their computer. They get dozens, hundreds of qualified resumes for many of the job openings that they've got. So if you've applied 3 months ago, they're probably going to ignore your resume and look for the person who applied 3 hours ago.
Oh, man. So you're telling me there's a lot of luck involved. You've got to be the guy who was there just a second ago.
There is a lot of being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
It's not always the most qualified applicant who gets the job. A lot of times it's a well-qualified applicant who just happens to apply at the right time.
All right. Now, you've got some tips that I would love to have you explain. First of all, look for signs. That's one of the ways to land a job. What do you mean by that?
Well, it definitely is very advantageous to a job seeker to apply to an organization, whether it's a government position, nonprofit, for-profit, small business, large business. But you want to apply to an organization that is actually hiring. You know, an organization that's failing, that's laying a ton of people off, generally those organizations are not going to be the ones that you want to apply to. You want to go after the organizations who are doing well. So you can look at the stock market, you can just look in the news.
Right.
A mistake that some people make, though, is that they say, oh, well, such and such an organization is laying off, 5,000 people in Indiana. Well, that may be true, but they may be hiring 3,000 people in California.
Sure.
So don't assume just because they're laying off people in total that they're laying off people like you. They may be laying off in one area, hiring in another.
That's a good point. Meanwhile, it's people, not paper. What does that mean?
You know, the best way to find a job, and this has always been the case since the dawn of employment, is it's who you know and who they know. So, if you're a college student or recent grad, or if you're 50 and you've been out of school for 25, 30 years, the best chance for you to find a job is through a friend, it's through a family member, it's through somebody who you used to work for. There are people who get fired from their job because they just are not a good fit for that employer. Maybe the employer is laying people off. Maybe you did a great job for 5 years, but the employer's business has changed and your skill set no longer matches up. But go back to your old boss. If she liked you and you liked her, there's good respect there, she probably will know people who are looking for people with your skill set.
Exactly right. Also, you say, make it easy to find you. It's one thing if you're qualified, but if an employer can't find you, you're out of luck.
Yeah. So not only do you want to apply to the advertised jobs, lots of people get jobs that way, but you also want to network. And networking is not so much about asking other people to find you a job, but it's about getting them to know that you're available and finding ways that you can help them. So a great way of doing that, volunteer for your local nonprofit. The people who are on the boards and the committees of those, they tend to be movers and shakers in the community. Those tend to be the people who are doing a lot of hiring. Get yourself onto networking sites like LinkedIn.
This is all great advice. If you're looking for work, make sure that the people who are looking for people know that you're looking. Great stuff. Steve Rothberg from collegerecruiter.com. We thank you very much for joining us today from the Twin Cities. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.